On Saturday, UFC 261, we witnessed arguably one of the greatest and most important UFC cards of all time. Not only do we get a tremendous amount of slate of fights, there wasn't one bad fight on this entire card. We got plenty of knockouts, plenty of huge moments, and best of all, we had 15,000 screaming fans back in that arena. And Blake, I gotta tell you, oh, I miss fans so much. But UFC 261, absolutely fantastic cards. One of my favorite cards, honestly, watching live, might be my favorite card of all time. We'll wait, because right now it's recency bias. But we'll wait. I'll give it a few weeks, and I'll go back and say it. But right now, this is at the top of my list. But Blake, what'd you think of this card?
Yeah, I think I have to echo what you were just saying. It's crazy how much of a difference, like in just the atmosphere, through the television, that we could witness with the fans coming in there and bringing all their energy. It's just a whole nother experience, like it seemed like the fighters were fighting harder. I don't know.
Well, it's obvious from that first fight.
it just seemed like there was more of a, I don't know, just electricity in the air.
Mm-hmm. It felt so great. Because first off, I gotta say though, part of the whole, I guess, UFC Apex kind of stuff, I do enjoy being able to listen to the corners and the silence of it, but at the same time, oh, it's so much better having all these people screaming. It's so much better with the woos, the boos, the USA chants throughout most of this, especially in that Rose fight. Oh boy,
Jake Paul chants, I like
that. Oh. That was one of the best ones. Or one of the best, my favorite moments was when the camera was on Jake Paul, they were all booing. Then Susan went to Nick Diaz, the whole place erupted.
Yeah, that was great. That was great.
That's how you know Nick Diaz could still draw, and that guy looks phenomenal. Keep that name in mind, because we'll be talking about him a little bit later. But before we jump in properly to our breakdown of UFC 261, just got to shout out scgsubs.com for all your pre-workout stuff, some really good stuff that doesn't have like the draw. There's no kind of sleep, and you don't get tired after using it. There's no proverbial cliff you fall off, and it increases focus, and you get way less of the jitters. Right now, if you go to the website for a limited time only, they will give you free product. You just have to pay for shipping, and they'll do up to five bottles of their pre-workout. So phenomenal deal. Go get on that. And right now we're still doing Thrive Fantasy. Of course, the best place for all your sports prop betting needs. It's super easy, super convenient, really simple place to bet and put some money on. Then especially if you put $20 down, and they'll match you up to $50 if you use the promo code Fourth and Long. Links are in the description. Go get all that stuff, or just go to our website, thefourthandlong.com, to get started on all of that today, and to take advantage of a really bitchin' deal on pre-workout, and to take advantage of free money to bet with. But let's get into the action, Blake, because we already give us our initial thoughts of UFC Vegas 261. But let's talk about one of the first fights on this, Brendan Allen and Carl Robertson. And Brendan Allen, he's not ranked yet in that middleweight division, but it looks like he might be able to get a ranking, or it looks like at the very least he deserves a top 15 shot, because that guy has been nothing but a winner in the UFC, and he showed off his really, really slick ground game with a really superb heel hook with 5 seconds left to go in round 1. And man, should we just be pushing Brendan Allen at this point?
I think like you were saying, I think he definitely deserves a step up in competition now. It's just time to give this guy another test. He's had a couple big tests so far and hasn't gotten the job done, but I think he's still just, a young guy, has tons of potential, and hopefully is learning from the mistakes that he's made in his previous fights. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think this guy has, a super high ceiling.
And then one of the other ones, going from one submission to the other, let's talk about Randy Brown getting a standing rear naked choke on veteran Alex Oliveira. And now going into this, you thought that Oliveira looked different, and that's why you picked against him in your predictions this week. Why was that?
Yeah, I just kind of thought he acted a little out of character at the weigh-ins, kind of. I think it was the ceremonial weigh-ins. It just looked just something different from Oliveira we haven't seen before. Usually he's really cool, calm, composed, chill, I would say, funny even, dancing sometimes. But this time he looked extremely intense, a little emotional maybe, mad. So I thought that might be a sign, there's something that he's really thinking of that might, have him bothered. And yeah, I had to go with Randy Brown on this, just one, because of the size advantage, and two, because I thought he might have that mental edge considering how Oliveira was acting.
Of course, I hate this fight because that was my one blemish on my record on Saturday, with my predictions going 8-1. And of course, I get this one. It can't be perfect. I still have yet to get a perfect card since we've been doing this. But luckily, even though he did set a record, a 4th-and-long record, with the most consecutive Suck My Pick title defenses with 3. So, Blake, I want to give a hands off to you as what you are officially the greatest 4th-and-long Suck My Pick champion of all time. So, a little round of applause for you. I'll give you some respect. But at the same time, we have a new champion in ya boy, because ain't no one got close.
Champ casual.
What do you mean champ casual?
You skip the freaking fight of the night. You just go straight to submissions. No one cares about submissions.
What do you mean submissions?
You skip Jeff Molina, and you skip. I don't want to try and say this guy's name, but
that's why I didn't want to say those names.
The Mongolian fighter, dude. Dana.
Oh?
It's got to be how you say that. Batgaral. That guy. He's a sniper.
Kevin Atidad.
He's a freaking sniper.
Is he a freaking sniper?
He's in the bantamweight division, and that division just keeps getting more and more exciting. Like, there's so many guys in that division that just have such high skill level. Like, that guy got me fired up, man. I don't know. That guy, and then Molina. Like, I can't say enough good things about Molina, too. I just wish he maybe could have got the finish.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, the kid's got heart. The kid's got really sharp tools in the shed. Both of those guys that I just brought up, I just wanted to give those guys.
Donna, with the counter left hook, looking like some Conor McGregor type stuff with that finish.
On the way back, taking a step back.
That's pure Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
He wonders how many times he watched that fight with Jose Aldo. Yeah. Probably watched that 1,000 times.
Man, it was something special to behold, man. It was just, like you said, the card couldn't have started off really any better. I mean, 2 finishes, a fight of the night, and then another really good fight with that young Chinese fighter, Rong Zhu. So, I mean, I was pumped up watching these kind of Asian fighters go at it, because it's kind of a fighting style that I'm not super accustomed to watching. We're a lot more American-based over here, a lot more Brazilian fighters, I'd say. Polish, bunch of Russian fighters, stuff like that. So it was cool to see like the Chinese and just Asian people in general get a little bit of shine on that night.
Now, also another shout out to Pat Sabatini, who made his UFC debut in this night against veteran Tristan Connolly, and Sabatini looked like an absolute stud there in the octagon, winning a unanimous decision that wasn't close at all. I mean, he ragdolled Tristan Connolly the whole 15 minutes. So that was just really, really good in the showing. But in the main card, we started off with Anthony Smith and Jimmy Crute, a fight that was really supposed to deliver. And it did deliver for most of it while it was still going on before it stopped, because Anthony Smith takes a page out of, I guess he did pulled the page out of Chito Vera's playbook, landing a kick that just absolutely disabled the leg of Jimmy Crute. Hit one like to the outside left. I think it was Jimmy Crute's left leg. He lands a kick to the outside of that, and then Crute just crumbles. Anthony Smith wins by TKO. It was really cool to see Jimmy Crute try to play it off. He screamed in front of the doctor. He looked like a real badass, quite frankly. I'm not even being sarcastic with that one. But Anthony Smith, he gets the job done, and he's still up there in the upper echelon of the UFC light heavyweight division. And I think it's time for people to stop counting out Anthony Smith, especially given he was an underdog going into this fight.
Well, I don't know. I think Anthony Smith kind of is who he is. He's a wily veteran who's going to beat most of the guys that he comes into contact with that are in the top 15. Once he goes to the top 5, it's a little bit more questionable, right? I'd say he's good. He's not great. He's had the chances to be great. Could have taken the title on an illegal knee. Put that in an asterisk. But still, I just think we know who Anthony Smith is. He can't defend takedowns. He's a great striker. Yeah, I don't know. I think Jimmy Crute, if he doesn't have that injury, it would have been a really tough fight for him because it looked like Smith had his jab going.
Yeah, it did.
But yeah, it's tough, man. Because I don't think anyone underrates Anthony Smith. I think they put him into kind of that gatekeeper type conversation, which I think is fair because he's not going to hold the title at 205 ever. He's not going to hold the title at 185 if he went back to 185.
Technically, he is the uncrowned light heavyweight champion of the world.
Why?
Well, it's because he took good taking the belt from John
okay.
Jones.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's all I'm talking about.
That's what I just said.
That's all I'm
absolutely.
talking about.
Totally agree. But
we're way past that. That was enough. I just love pushing it from like saying, "Oh, he did beat John Jones."
I don't really know what happened with Crute's leg is the only thing that makes this really tough.
And I was looking at the reports, like not really anything came out. I couldn't find like an injury report on that one.
Yeah, well, they probably haven't gotten the diagnostics back yet.
And I think we know what happened to the next fighter's leg, though.
And I'm telling you right now, it wasn't the same thing as Cheeto Vera and Sugar Sean, because if that was the same, he could have kept fighting if it was a nerve. He would have regained feeling like that happened in the Chandler fight, and even I think the Demetrius Johnson and Henry Cejudo fight, and they regained feeling. Whoever I think it was Cejudo that had it happen to him. I can't remember exactly though. But yeah, they regained their feeling eventually. It's just with Crute, I think it had to have been something structural. For my guess, considering the doctor legit would not let him continue.
Yeah, well, I understand why the doctor didn't let him continue because he couldn't stand.
Yeah.
Jeez, that was tough.
How about that power leg, that power double leg right there, takedown that he shot for?
That was good.
Right when he noticed he couldn't put pressure on it.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying with Anthony Smith, man. Like, come on, dude. Are you freaking serious, bro? I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. That's something you should not let ever happen, dude. Ever. You should be killing that kid. He's on one leg.
I do feel bad for Jimmy Crute.
The one place he's safe.
Yeah, that was tough.
Should have been a finish. I mean, technically it still is a finish, but it's doctor stoppage.
He almost got he was close to getting the finish on the ground. But I feel bad for Jimmy Crute because I hope he recovers quickly from whatever the hell happened because he's a fantastic fighter, man. He's going to be really good. Dude. He's going to be really good in the light heavyweight division.
For sure, and he's young.
Yeah.
Man, it sucks, dude, because injuries like that take time. Like, look at Josh Emmett. I mean, I feel like we bring him up every episode. But
well, it's because we have to. Friend of the show, Josh Emmett.
Dude. I hate injuries like that. The Weidman injuries, same night that we're just about to get to. It just sucks.
Yeah, it's... Poor, really do feel bad for him. Another guy I feel absolutely awful for is Chris Weidman and his leg because I was expecting a really good fight in this rematch of Chris Weidman and Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall is a fantastic fighter in his own right, just beat Anderson Silva. And then Chris Weidman, he's coming for like his one last ride in the UFC, to try to make his last push to the middleweight championship. And then full circle happens because Chris, if we throw it back to 2013, Blake, December of 2013, Anderson Silva against Chris Weidman, I think this is the first loss of Anderson Silva's career. He kicks Chris Weidman, the same kind of outside, or I think he kicks the inside of the leg of Chris Weidman's leg, snaps his leg in half, and we all know the rest from there. Late last year, Uriah Hall.
For the title, though.
Yeah, for the title.
That's what's crazy.
So a little more stakes in that fight. But we throw it back to last year, remember, in Anderson Silva's, I'll put in quotes, retirement fight, because apparently he's boxing now. Uriah Hall knocked out Anderson Silva. And now, throw it back to what happened on Saturday, Chris Weidman versus Uriah Hall 2. Chris Weidman breaks his leg against Uriah Hall the same way Anderson Silva broke his leg against Chris Weidman. I swear, if this isn't proof, Blake, that we're living in a simulation, I don't know what is. Everything is so stupid. How all of that ties together. It really doesn't make sense. MMA is weird. It's so weird.
Yeah, no, there's a lot to digest. all at once, and
That's bad looking.
it was just that image was just, that was rough to see. And then everyone posting freaking still shot frames of it on
not a fan.
2 days. I'm just like, man, I don't want to see that again. But main thing is I want to make sure I give a huge shout out to Chris, huge shout out to Uriah as well, because Uriah, I mean, the broadcast kind of detailed it a little bit, but I mean, he handled that as best as you could. You could tell he didn't take any real, pride or accomplishment from that victory. It was just a really sucky thing to happen, and that's the fight game, right? That's the fight business. Things like that happen.
Yeah, too bad we won't even get a trilogy fight, because unfortunately, I don't want to be negative, but since this was Chris Weidman's quote last ride, he might be retired at this point, because he was saying he relisted the statement after surgery. He should be able to walk in 8 weeks, which is good. And then the doctor said this takes anywhere between 6 to 12 months to heal, and then who knows when he could get back to training. So
he's gonna have to probably relearn to walk again.
A little bit, man, because that was just a bad break. The worst part about it wasn't like the break, the initial break, is when he puts his leg back down and it folds.
Oh, disgusting. Yeah.
Oh, that
absolutely disgusting.
I'm absolutely
literally
heartbroken.
Give me chills thinking about that. I hate that. Let's move on.
All right. Thoughts with Chris Weidman, though. Hopefully he gets better. Hopefully he can at least just use his leg at this point. And
hopefully they give Uriah a quick turnaround.
Yeah. It's not like he took much damage. Right? The first track of the fight. Jeez, man. Yeah, but let's get into a way more positive one. This was a really crazy fight for me, because Valentina Shevchenko versus Jessica Andrade for the women's flyweight title. And we're all saying, at least I was, I'm not going to put like this on you, Blake, unless you were like saying agree with me, but I was saying at least, and a lot of other people around the MMA community were saying that this might be the most competitive fight that Valentina is going to have in the last 3 years of her title reign, which has been just ridiculous.
Basically, besides Nunes.
Basically. But that was not what we got. This was just an all-out domination in a wrestle F and a striking F by Valentina Shevchenko onto Jessica Andrade. Valentina Shevchenko, she sets a women's flyweight record of 7 takedowns in one fight, with the previous record being 4. She set this record, or she broke the record in the first round alone. And then
5, right?
Yeah, she got 5 in the first round. 5 in the first round. She got 2 in the second, 2 in the second, and then that was such a good finish.
Put her in the crucifix.
Get her in the crucifix. Okay, Blake, I just gotta tell you, I've never been in this position before. Never done MMA like that.
I hope you never get in that position, my friend.
That has to be the most helpless position ever, because you can't use your hands, you can't defend your face. You're just taking shots and have to turn your head away.
Yeah,
that has to feel awful.
Yeah. There's nothing you could do about that, and it's really like up to the person that has you in that position. Like whenever they want to end the fight, like the fight's over, and that's kind of what it was with Shevchenko. Like once she started throwing those elbows and
those elbows, man,
it was just like, yep, that's all she wrote. Really, I mean, there's nothing that Andrade could do to get out of that. I mean, yeah, dude, it was domination.
Well, in every sense of the word, but the only problem is, where do you go from here? There's no one in that division that could
the thing is,
realistically compete with her.
I don't care. I think a lot of people like put so much stake in it, like, oh, there's no interesting fights, blah 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 blah. Dude, I don't care.
Just keep feeding her.
Feed her. And she pretty much said the same thing in the octagon, just minus that cringe moment with Joe Rogan. Come get some. Yeah, that was weird.
Oh, where she didn't understand what
was. But I mean, she speaks like 5 languages, so give
then she broke out Spanish because she was in Florida. That was.
She's from a Spanish-speaking country, isn't she?
Peru, right? Or Peru, she's like part like Eastern European, part
Russian,
Peruvian,
right? She's like Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah, something like that. But she went from speaking English to like speaking Russian to speaking Spanish all within a couple minutes. She's scary and one impressive human being. Yeah,
she's a spy.
The Bullet is this? Yeah, no, freaking. Don't we need the new 007 actor?
No,
do we need a new James Bond?
Are we going to women now? Are they making that a women role?
Dog, I think they're going for whatever. It is 2021. But Shevchenko could.
She could do whatever she wants. I mean, I don't even think you have to pin her in a 007. Make a totally new movie around her because she's
Just call. Oh, what if you just call the movie The Bullet? Just go with her nickname. That's easy.
That's money moves you're talking about right now.
All we do is get money moves. What you want for your Lauren Murphy next? We choose
anyone. That's what I was.
Joanne Calderwood. Let's just go throw her up there. Hey, let's get Jessica I back in Octagon with her. Or is that just mean?
I think that's a hate crime. That's bad.
Oh no.
Leave her alone. She needs to stay 10-mile radius.
Just trying to get her
from Shevchenko, bro. That's just bad. She'll get PTSD from I should stop. I'm gonna get in trouble.
It's all good. It's fine. Now we just gotta see I guess Antonia Shevchenko just move her away. Let's get a sister fight. Oh,
that'd be so mean.
Just beat up on your little sister.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think there's still for me, whoever hasn't fought her yet and wins a fight, basically, you're going to the slaughter. You know, that's it. So right now, it's looking like Murphy or Calderwood the winner of that fight.
Yeah,
and then after that, like whoever has the next impressive performance. She fought Shakagian, hasn't she?
Yeah, she killed Shukagian. Shukagian. I think that was late. I think that was spring of last year, or like
she's only got 5 defenses so far, right?
Yeah. Hey, shoot, just whatever. If she wants to keep getting more and more rubies on her belt,
I know. I want her to fill that up bad.
Yeah, I think if anyone can, it's gonna be her and Nunes. I think Nunes does have the advantage of because she has 2 belts to defend. Wait, no, that's a disadvantage because there's only 1 ruby per belt. Ooh.
Yeah, so she's done. Let's see, Jessica I, Liz Caramouche, Caitlin Chikagian, Jennifer Maya, and now Jessica Andrade. So there's still tons of people. Like there's Calderwood she could fight. There's Murphy. There's Calvillo if she gets a good win.
Freshman woman on the block from a few cards ago is Miranda Maverick. Maybe she makes her way up.
Rise up. Yeah, absolutely.
I guess we'll see. As long as it's not Jessica I.
Yeah. I just hope there's someone that can, a little bit bigger, obviously than Andrade, and just can offer something in the striking department because it just seems like none of these girls are on her level right now. And same issue with Nunes. Like at least in the strawweight division, there's some players, right? There's Joanna that can offer tough fights. There's Zhang, like, I mean, Rose ended her, but still, like, she's still an amazing fighter. Besides that was like her first loss since her first professional fight, I think. So,
yeah. So
I'm getting ahead of myself, though.
Well, no, don't get ahead of yourself because let's just move right into that with Thug, Rose Namajunas, and Zhang Weili. Oh boy, Blake. Rose gets her belt back after a ginormous first round head kick knockout, and I just leaped out of the couch and was screaming at this fight. I normally don't do that. But I couldn't help myself. This was so out of nowhere. And God bless Rose because thanks to her, we got another memeable UFC commentary team reaction, GIF, video, and pictures. So, all around, really good stuff in this one. Oh my, dude. What a performance by Rose.
Yeah, it was so good for perfect. The fact that Zhang was completely flat-footed and planted on the ground and like the perfectly placed kick, man, it almost had like a slight hesitation to where it like flicked a little bit like flat and then went kind of up at an angle at the last second, gets her directly on the chin.
Clean, man.
Oh man, that was so freaking awesome.
That Fisher's on the ground. I mean, Weili kind of freaks out about the stoppage, but it was a really good stoppage. If anything, it was almost a second late.
She was dead.
She was so dead. The ref saved her life.
Rose would have killed her in a street fight.
Yeah, that's exactly what we've had. But dude, I think the biggest thing from this, I felt so happy for Rose because she was emotional, but rightfully so, man. She went from about retiring from the sport to getting her belt back.
She takes a lot of crap from people, that's for sure.
She deserved this, man. I think the whole world was, and maybe besides China, was rooting for her in this one.
Now, do you think that Zhang Weili deserves an immediate rematch, like a lot of people are saying?
Well, if we want to take a look at that division...
Like, who else is there, kind of?
Yeah, I mean, there was Joanna. I guess. I think
But she's
Esparza.
already 0-2 though.
Yeah, exactly.
Esparza could be a rematch.
Esparza and Jan or
Jan.
Jan Jalwin are slated to fight a little later. So
The winner of that fight.
Winner of that?
After, I think, the run back, though, probably.
yeah, they're probably going to rematch this. I don't have a problem with that though.
And then if they rematch it and Zhang wins, it's a trilogy all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, holy crap, that could tie up that division for like a year and a half.
Kind of what's going on with that with the featherweight division, or at least what was going
really,
on.
They could probably run that back in like 6 months. Honestly, you think she could be cleared in like by October, November?
I think so. I think
maybe even the end of the year card.
They'll be able to get a fight. Rose is going to defend her belt later this year, whether it be in a rematch.
I want to see her fight again, man.
Oh,
gosh, she's good, dude. She's a shocker. She's just really good. I saw video today by Dan Hardy of his like live. It was some of his live reactions when he was watching the fights with his friends over the weekend, and like just the thumbnail, the title of the video was just like Rose Namajunas is a world shocker, and I couldn't agree more. Like she just shocks the world, dude, every single time. Even if she's on the losing end.
She doesn't miss. She doesn't miss. And you want to know why? There's a huge reason why Wei Li's 21-fight win streak came to end. It's because of who was in her corner. Amanda had back-to-back fights to corner. Trevor Weidman. Oh, my. That man's just something else, Blake. Weidman is something else. But Weidman brings us into the next fight because that's so cool. In one fight, you get to corner her. You get to corner your fighter, and then she wins the belt. And then you go into the very next fight, and Kamaru Usman, your fighter, wins in absolute dominant fashion in the rematch against Jorge Masvidal. And this was a competitive first round, similar to their first round of their first fight. A lot of people forget, even though it was a dominant win by Usman in that one, super controlled, the first round was close. The first round was close. One of the judges gave it to Masvidal in all fairness. But Usman lands a huge one-hitter quitter against Jorge Masvidal in that second round, even after being outstruck by Jorge Masvidal in this fight. But he lands a couple takedowns, and he lands a huge overhand right that knocks the spit and sweat off of Jorge Masvidal. And this was a fantastic performance by Kamaru Usman, and a knockout like this is exactly what he needed in this fight.
Yeah, his last 3 defenses now have all been finishes. So, I mean, props to Usman. He's definitely, I think, turned a page in his career. People are going to have to start, like he says, putting some respect on his name. Even me. I have not been the biggest fan of Usman just because there was specifically that 30% little comment he made back when he was fighting. God, it was like some Icelandic dude. I can't remember what. He's not from Iceland, but he was like a Viking-looking dude. Emil something. I can't remember what his name was, but I just remember he had this really cheesy, weird speech afterwards that he was like, yeah, I was only at 30% effort, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, that's not a good look. However, since that RDA fight really is where I think it kind of turned to a next level. And even again, when Trevor Weidman, he wins the title, Trevor Weidman joins his corner once he's getting ready for that Gilbert Burns fight that gets rescheduled. He gets another level, right? He just keeps leveling up. And it's just super impressive for a guy that's, the best in his division to just keep finding ways to get better and just cement himself as probably one of the best of all time. And if he keeps going at this rate, keeps defending his titles and staying active, yeah, it's going to be really hard to deny him.
Man, this guy's really damn good. Kamaru Usman's really damn good. Ever since he switched to Trevor Weidman, the greatest coach in MMA right now, and he's about to be the greatest coach in MMA history if he keeps this up. He's looked like a totally different fighter. He's looked like a totally different fighter. And the problem is now does Colby Covington even have a chance? He's been the only guy that can really push Kamaru Usman recently. He's the only guy in the UFC that could actually keep up the pace of Kamaru Usman and in times outpace him. And he has good striking, fantastic wrestling, of course. Does Colby have a chance in their rematch?
It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be a close fight, but it's going to be really tough for me to pick against the champ because he's done it once already, and he's proven to be a little bit more durable. Colby's going to have to find a way to really put a hurting on him this next time that they fight because, Usman is, like I said, he's finding ways now to get guys out of there.
Yeah, it's scary. Then maybe for Masvidal though, on his side, I did say to keep his name in mind. He was there in the arena for this fight. Jorge Masvidal has fought his brother. What if we do Jorge Masvidal versus Nick Diaz?
Versus Nick Diaz?
Nick Diaz.
I just don't think that would happen because of like who Nick and Nate are. Nick would have to get the okay from Nate. You know what I mean? Because that's Nate's fight. I feel like in their minds, like he would be like, no, that's Nate's fight, because Nate still wants that back.
Do you think he would get the okay?
Maybe, I don't know. He's tied up with Leon, so I feel like it kind of depends on what happens with that Leon fight. Because maybe if that Leon fight doesn't go his way, he gets that that BMF rematch.
Or if it does, he gets a title shot for the welterweights.
Right, and then that's when I would think, yeah, you can go ahead and take care of my light work. Go ahead and take care of Mastodon. I'm gonna go get this belt real quick for us.
Dude, do you think Nick Diaz fights again in the UFC?
I hope so. I mean, why is he getting in so much,
he
incredible shape?
Jacked.
You follow him on Instagram?
Yeah.
Like, that guy looks shredded, man. It's insane. He looks like I don't even know, man, like a sculpture. It's crazy.
The dude looks really damn good. I swear, whatever the hell's in that Stockton water, just keep drinking that because he looks incredible. And I really hope I think he comes back. But if you can't deny though, if they book Nick Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal, that is money, especially from the crowd reaction to Nick Diaz on Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
would you want to see it?
I would be interested, I guess. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Well, it's maybe besides Nick, what do you see next for Jorge Masvidal?
It's a tough one.
Or would it be like a legitimate fight that would get him back into the picture, or is it one more like these Nick Diaz kind of showcase fights? I would say spectacle fight.
Yeah, it's really tough to say at this point because that was kind of he. Not only has he lost the championship fight, but he's now lost it twice in a row. And
it has been close twice in a row.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he got, 50-45, 44, and then...
He got 50-45, and then there's... then he gets knocked out in the second.
But, so... I mean, he won, one round in that fight, but he got 10-8. He got 10-8 in at least one or two of those rones.
Yeah. Maybe Vicente Luque?
He's just not... I'd be down with that, yeah. Have they fought yet?
I mean, shoot, there's a good chance.
Vicente Luque. Yeah, no, I'm tripping. That's welterweight.
Yeah.
I was thinking middleweights for a second. I was like, wait.
No. Vicente Luque. No, he's moved up to 6 now, so...
that'd be a cool fight if Jorge's down. But, Jorge's probably going to... I think Jorge would play it as sitting and waiting for a sec, seeing where it goes.
He did say...
That would be a cool fight, though. I like that.
On Monday, he did say he wants another fight this year, and he says he can't retire without the belt. So he's still driven towards that, which is something to see. So, but what's crazy, after all of his fights, man, he hasn't fought him.
Off the top of my head, Luque and Diaz do sound probably the most intriguing, and it's almost like who's better? Like Diaz going to be probably more money, probably more eyes. Well, I don't know about more money, but it'll definitely be more eyes, more hype. But Luque, that'll legitimize, I'm still that guy. I'm still, there's no way you're going to touch the top of this division if I'm here. If he beats Luque.
And that would be a gnarly fight. But let's move on. There's the UFC 261. Some of the takeaways, though, Blake. One of the takeaways is, like I said, Trevor Whitman. He's already the lock for UFC for MMA Coach of the Year. It's not close.
Not even yet.
Come on, back-to-back title fight wins.
Gaethje still has to fight this year. Yeah. Who else has to fight this year?
Kamaru Usman's going to fight again.
Who else does he have? Does he have any other fighters besides those guys? I think
those are his main ones. At least those are the thoroughbreds. Those are the money makers for those. Another thing is, I did say at the beginning, and I will say again, Blake, this is at least a top 5
one of the best or most important cards in UFC history, and I think you could even put this in the same conversation as UFC 92 or the tough finale between Forrest Griffin or sorry, it wasn't 92, was it? It was but the tough finale with Forrest Griffin, because that was on Spike TV, and that's essentially what saved the UFC at that point. Both guys getting contracts, but this fight, I mean, between being the first full sold-out arena after this whole year plus of the UFC keeping things going and fighting through all of this, they return in huge fashion, and they have a fight. They don't have a fight that misses, and if anything, all the fights hit, which was even better. And it was just a huge night for MMA and the UFC, and I think, Blake, we witnessed history on Saturday. We're going to look back in like 10, 20 years. We're going to look back on this card and just see how important it was. I guarantee it. What do you think? Yeah? Am I going too far on this? Is it recency bias? I'm not going far enough?
I don't know. I like to stay in the moment a little bit, but I can definitely say that I agree with your feelings on how this event was. For sure, in the past, like, 2-3 years, that felt like top to bottom one of the most like entertaining. It doesn't matter where you're at. Like I was in probably like 3 different locations watching, because I had to go. I was started at my house. I had to, go take care of some things really quick, and then I finally ended up at my friend's house, and we were doing dinner there, and it was just like every setting that I was in, I was able to look at either my phone or the TV that was on, and enjoy every single second that I was able to watch, because it was just great performances top to bottom. So yeah, it was an awesome and entertaining card. And not only that, but I feel like there was a few really special moments, like Kamaru putting his belt around his dad.
Oh, that was cool.
Rose saying, "I'm the best." Like that
while Bruce Buffer is
dude. Like
goosebumps, man.
Joe Rogan was like, "I saw you saying you're the best, blah blah blah," and she's like, and then they give her the mic, and she's like, "I'm the best," and I was like, "Dude, that's crazy." Dude. That's crazy. I love that.
How can you not love Thug Rose, man? She's just
come get some Shevchenko moment. I mean, yeah, there's just some really good moments. The busting a nut meme type reaction from Joe Rogan and Daniel Cormier and John Anik. It was great.
And then seeing them, man, because they've been their own separate little table this whole time, but seeing the trio, the golden trio, all back together again.
Oh, and did we talk about how Jake Paul shit his pants?
Oh, with DC getting in his face. That
was great. We didn't. I like that.
Oh, DC would murder. DC said he cut down to 205 if it meant fighting Jake Paul.
In the octagon, though.
Yeah. Oh, Jake Paul would get murdered.
Jake Paul would never take that fight.
He's not.
He'd have to get offered $30 million John Jones money for that.
Oh, the crackhead money.
Oh, John Jones news, by the way. I don't know if you caught this, but apparently him and his management team have parted ways.
Oh, John Jones is representing himself.
You know who shares his management team? I don't know. I haven't confirmed this, but I saw on Twitter in the comments underneath, so it might not be true. But if it is true, it's crazy. Derek Lewis has the same management as him.
Oh.
And it wouldn't be crazy to think it, because they're both Texas guys, aren't they?
New Mexico and Texas. Mexico. Yeah.
But close. So close.
Hey, you want to know who John Jones should go to now? The baddest man in the business.
Ali.
I
don't know, man.
Oh.
We'll see. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what he does next.
Hey, Ali would get John Jones $40 million for this fight, guaranteed.
Gosh.
Jeez, it's interesting stuff right there, man. I'll tell you that much. Also, just want to ask you, in a debate, who had the better KO or the most kind of biggest KO? Was that Thug Rose or was that Kamaru Usman?
Thug Rose, not even a question.
Thank you.
Don't even get me started, bro. Like, don't. Now, I don't want to come off as disrespectful. Kamaru Usman's KO was amazing. I loved it. But it did not make me scream like a banshee. Thug Rose made me scream like a banshee.
Fair enough.
At my friend's house, and I felt a little embarrassed for a second.
Hey, you don't be embarrassed. It's UFC, man. Hey, if they don't understand it, that's on them.
Oh, they knew what they were getting. When I was coming over bringing the fights, they knew what they were getting themselves into.
Fuck, man, that was just such a huge thing. But also, now with Kamaru Usman, is he the pound-for-pound #1 fighter? And if he isn't, what's wrong with you? Because, yes, he's the pound-for-pound #1 fighter. Right now it's John Jones. Come on.
I don't know, dude.
Usman's pound for
I
pound
don't
number
know.
one.
It's hard for me to say. Usman still. I'm coming around.
Mm-hmm.
I gave him some respect today, but don't put this on me yet. Okay.
Okay.
You should have saved this for the next one. Next time he fights, then you can ask me, and then I'll.
All right.
Say something nice.
All right. But what is he encroaching on GSP levels of greatness in the welterweight division?
As long as he doesn't get knocked the F out, yes, absolutely. He might already be there.
I might be bold. Blake might have to take some time to really kind of analyze and develop this opinion. But just off the top of my head, from watching that fight, my initial reaction was Kamaru Usman is the greatest welterweight to ever fight.
Another thing that people really need to keep in mind too is MMA as a sport. It's a lot younger than like other sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
In comparison. And just think about the LeBron James and Michael Jordan comparison, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a huge argument for the LeBron James fans are always, Michael Jordan was playing against mailmen, stuff like that. Dude, GSP was not fighting the same dudes that Kamaru Usman was fighting. It's just not the same, man. These guys are being born and bred now from like little kids to be killers. So. It's coming to that time now, like Rong Zhu, that Chinese fighter. He was born in 2000. I think he must have been, 2001?
Oh, I feel...
Because he's 21.
Damn.
So it's like, dude, it's coming, bro. I'm telling you, these machines are going to start filling in the UFC and other type promotions. These guys that have just been doing this their whole lives, not just one discipline, and then venturing on to others. It is every discipline from the moment that they can freaking train. They're going to be, that's who Usman's going to have to fend off. Whereas GSP didn't have to fend off guys like that too often. But that's the one argument that I would bring in Usman's favor is like that. I think that is definitely a valid argument.
I think I'd be more willing to say that. And also, I'll be putting a post out on Instagram and Twitter this week. So if you guys want to go ahead and argue that, please just keep an eye out for that. You can go follow us on Twitter at Fourth Long Radio and Instagram at Fourth and Long Radio. And then moving on from UFC 261, I hate to do this. I don't want to move on from this card, dude. I just want to keep talking about it because we could talk for hours about everything from this card. But we have to move on, unfortunately. We're going to UFC Vegas 25 because one of the best times of the week, it's Blake's Bangers.
Oh, yeah. We're going to just get right on into it.
Please.
So the first one was super easy for me to choose. That was Cub Swanson versus Giga Chikadze. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it sounds right. So Giga is if you guys aren't familiar with him already, he is a kickboxer. I believe it was from the Glory promotion. We were scouting him out a little bit earlier. Mm-hmm. He had 4 fights last year. 3 unanimous decision wins, and then a TKO most recently. So he is on the up and up, and he is clearly, thought of pretty highly by the brass if he's getting a shot at Cub Swanson. So I'm expecting fireworks in this fight for sure. It should be a kickboxing contest for the most part, unless Cub wants to, test his ground game at all. Mm-hmm. The next fight that I have that I'm looking forward to is going to be Ion Cutelaba. Ion Cutelaba, my boy, the guy that got knocked out twice by Ankalaev, but we'll forgive him. He is facing Dustin Jacoby, a guy who got a finish in his most recent contest as well. So we're expecting these guys to throw down, and there's some big boys, so they hit hard. So they say. Should be good. Should be entertaining, right?
You would think so. Hey, whether he's getting knocked out or knocking out, it's always a fun fight with him.
Some entertaining fights, right? So
we're not saying that he's going to win. We're just saying he's going to be entertaining.
We're just saying his fights are entertaining. The last Blake's banger, Sean Strickland versus Krzysztof Jotko.
Mm-hmm.
Some more bigger dudes, middleweights, 185 pounders, 6'1" each, 76-inch reach for Sean Strickland, 77 for Jotko. It's gonna be even. It's gonna be testy. It's gonna be fiery. We're gonna see who's the man, and I'm expecting someone to get punched in the face really hard repeatedly.
Hey, if that's what we get from a UFC fight, I am not going to complain about that all that much. And then some of the other fights to point out, like Merab and Cody Stamen, 2 wrestlers in the bantamweight division, but
Looking
2
to
guys
move on up.
Looking to move on up.
What's Stamen ranked right now? Is he 14?
Stamen is near up there in the rankings right now. Cody Stamen is at 13, with Merab being right above him at 12. So two guys might be able to break into the top 10 with this one.
I didn't know Merab was ranked that high. I thought he was still kind of fringe top 15.
He's still up there above your boy Marlon Chito Vera. Your favorite fighter.
Is he still 15?
Yeah, he's still 15.
Wow, I'm surprised he's still in the rankings, to be honest.
Right, it's been kind of a while since he's still trying to ride the coattails of that Sugar Sean win, which is interesting. But both these guys have the ability to pass Rafael Assunção for number 10, kind of moving to Dominic Cruz kind of area of the division, which would be good. But two guys wrestling heavy, but it seems like with Colby Covington versus Kamaru Usman 1, two wrestlers threw the hell down. It always seems like when two guys have a dominant style, and it seems so obvious they're just going to try to pose a style, they do the exact opposite, have a fantastic fight. So, I guess just want to throw that one out there as well. And Blake, your main event predictions for this one, because Yuri Prochazka, your 2020 Debut of the Year award winner, has a big test against Dominic Reyes, who suffered 2 consecutive losses to the hands of John Jones, and then he got thrashed by the Polish power of Jan Blachowicz. Is he going to be able to get back on track, or is Yuri going to be able to take advantage of his backwards momentum and propel himself into the top ranks in the upper echelon of the light heavyweight division?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the boy Yuri Prochazka.
Your guy.
Because he just has the more fun name to say, and also I think, I don't know, man, I think getting knocked out twice in a row might, well, it wasn't twice in a row they got knocked out, just once in a row.
Technically, it was just the one. Then there's a really bad ref stoppage in the first one, which is why they ran it back. So, technically, I don't know. But you're
for Reyes?
Oh, Reyes. Reyes, he lost his
he lost to John Jones, and then he lost to...
and then he got murdered and planted. Yeah. Blachowicz murdered him.
So he's only got the one bad loss to Blachowicz. But that I don't know, man. I kind of like the new blood. Mm-hmm. I kind of want Yuri to win. I think Dom should win, right? I think
he should.
Probably the more established veteran in the UFC. It's crazy to call him a veteran already, but he has had a few fights in the UFC now. He should be able to get it done, but something about Yuri, bro, he just seems like just a fairy tale freaking Norse god, Zeus, freaking lightning bolt that's just gonna demolish Dom Reyes' face.
And Blake, Vegas is with you on this one, as Yuri Prochazka is minus 134 on the betting odds. Dominic Reyes coming into this fight as a plus 110.
Wow.
And
interesting.
I have to go with, momentum. It's a legitimate thing. In the UFC, there's something so demeaning about, arguably, and what a lot of people be on your side, of beating the greatest light heavyweight fighter in the history of combat sports. A lot of people thought you won that fight. So you go out, you have a proven moment to try to win the belt back, or try to win the belt against Jan Blachowicz, a guy that was an underdog, 5 times in a row. You should have beat him. And then you get your head bounced off the back of the head, bounce off the canvas. There's something demeaning about that and demoralizing about that. That's real. And MMA is an extremely emotional sport, man. And Yuri Prochazka just ride the wave. And I feel bad for Dom, man. It's... Oh.
So you're going with Prochazka.
I'm going with Prochazka, man. I have to. We're going to ride the same boat. And it's going to be a lot of fun, Blake. Oh, yeah. But UFC Vegas 25, obviously not going to be a card like UFC 261, but I'm still looking forward to this one, especially with your Blake's bangers. But before we wrap things up this week, it's time for the segment, the Nae Nae of the week, Blake. And of course, if you didn't catch it last week, we debuted this on this UFC show. We also had it on our NFL show as well. So go ahead and check those out if you haven't already for last week's Nae Nae of the week award winners. But this week, since it's new, I'll still describe it. Blake, of course, you know now. But to get Nae Nae'd, essentially, it's like get schooled, get dunked on you, get played, and stuff like that.
it's not a good thing to have happen to you. So, my Nae Nae of the week this week is Chinese fighters in the UFC, because at UFC 261 they were 0-4 on the night. The first 3 fights of the card involved a Chinese fighter. They went 0-3, and then Zhang Weili loses her belt after getting knocked into UFC 262 with a head kick from hell from Thug Rose. So those fighters were not in that country, not having a good night, especially against the American fighters, especially with what Rose was saying going into this fight, fighting communism as an American. Hey, she proved her point damn well. She proved her point, Blake. You can't deny that.
Yep, they got Nae Nae.
Hey. Oh, that sounds so great for you to say. You're hopping on the train. I love it. It's going to get through.
I'm supporting you, bud. I'll be your guy.
That's my UFC correspondent right there. That's why you're going to get even more tax write-offs this year. Good for you. You're getting on the good side.
That's why I got the highest salary for the show.
Damn right you do.
Yes, sir.
Maybe. I'll give you a penny. That'd be the highest salary. Man, shoot. If I keep this up, you're going to have to start calling me Dana White with how much I'm paying you.
I'm thinking 30 mil.
30 mil? I'm thinking 30 cents.
We'll talk.
We'll talk off air. Ladies and gentlemen, though, that is going to wrap it for us this week in our latest UFC talk. Thank you so much for listening. Of course, to wrap things off, and one of the ideas for Nae Nae of the week did come from a very, very important Patreon supporter. Then also some other help for the show is going to come from our Patreon supporters as well. You can get started on that by going to patreon.com/fourthandlong to be able to donate to us and be able to become a member of this very, very prestigious group. And then along with just joining for $1 a month, you get a load of benefits. You can go to the $5 tier, or even better, the MVP $10 tier. But shout out to our Patreon supporters, Ray Rodriguez, for all your card collecting needs. Go to Instagram and follow at the Big Bat Box. Shout out to Neil Wiley and his YouTube channel, Chosen Problems. And thank you to Ryan Watson. Make sure to get in on that fantastic deal by SCG Subs and use our promo code @ThriveFantasy. Blake, one word or phrase to describe UFC 261.
Re-energizing.
Re-energizing. I like that one. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you in the next one.